Let me tell you what happened when a quiet miracle learned how loud a small town can be. After the drought, Jonah's fields didn't just recover, they gleamed. While every hillside wore the same tired yellow, his valley woke up green, as if the soil had remembered a song nobody else could hear. Folks tried to call it luck, then timing, then God, then government. But luck doesn't refill wells overnight. Timing doesn't teach leaves to shine, and nothing holy parks two trucks at the end of your lane with the windows rolled down and the engines whispering. That's how the day began. Silhouettes at the gate, a camera long as a forearm, a pair of boots that never met a pasture, and the kind of silence people use when they've already written your ending. Inside the porch's shade, Sera watched without flinching. She'd brought rain to a dying place. Now the place she saved stared back like a jury. Here's the price of telling the truth too soon. If the town connects Sera to that rain, they won't call her a neighbor. They'll call her evidence. Evidence invites inspectors. Inspectors invite ownership. Ownership invites fences you can't open from the inside. Jonah could lose the farm, the buffalo, the house with the red windmill, and the one friend who made Earth feel new. If they panic, one call brings those white corporate birds back to pluck what they didn't plant. If they don't panic, fear ferments anyway, and people who never meant harm start acting like weather you can't predict. So the next word spoken on this gravel road might keep the peace, or break it like a rotten fence post. That's the stake. That's the crack in the sky. And that's the moment when a town decides if it wants a miracle or ownership papers. The feed store always smelled like corn dust and old news. Jonah went in for staples, came out with a pocket full of stares. "Rain Man," somebody breathed like a prayer or a dare. He kept his hat low, paid cash, and let the bell announce his exit. Back home, Sera met him with that steady look that unspools your pulse. "They came," she said. "Town shoes, careful eyes. They took soil in little bags and left their confidence in the ruts." Jonah knelt at the fence and pressed a palm to the ground. The field felt awake, like a dog that recognizes your step. "We'll give them daylight answers," he said. "Daylight has a way of checking its own math." She nodded. The windmill turned 2 deliberate revolutions. The buffalo lifted their heads together, as if someone had called roll. That night, an engine idled at the end of the lane just long enough to spell soon in exhaust. Neither of them slept much, but they did not hide. Some truths need posture before speech. Town hall, fluorescent buzz, folding chairs, coffee you drink for the ritual, not the flavor. A hollow map glowed against cinder block, the county in tired browns, a single square lit green like a dare. The mayor said resource anomaly as if syllables could be handcuffs. Questions flew low and hard. Subsidies, black market tech, angels. Jonah stood when the word illegal landed like a gavel. "I tended the soil," he said. "I stopped squeezing it dry." The room shifted. Someone muttered, "He's hiding the real thing." From the back, Mrs. Linden, hands like braided rope, asked, "If it's just soil, why does the sky listen?" Jonah thought of Sera's rods, her fever, the way the first drop had hit his wrist like absolution. He said, "Because care is catchy." The room didn't clap. Rooms like that don't. But a few heads tilted, which is how agreement begins. Outside, the wind smelled of dust and decision. They came polite. 3 pickups, 1 SUV that didn't know gravel etiquette. Engines off, doors soft, hats on. Jonah walked to the gate with Sera half a step behind, the way you stand when you trust someone to finish your sentence. Pike's voice bridged the gap. "We want to see what we're living next to." Sera spoke before the rumor could. "My name is Sera. I help the farm remember. Water, soil, shade, timing." Hall's laugh had edges. "Big words for a miracle you can't prove?" Jonah pointed at the pen. New drainage, sweet straw, calves breathing clear. Proof isn't always loud. Mrs. Linden's eyes softened a shade. We'll listen Friday, she said. Make it plain. The trucks rolled away like cautious thunder. On the porch, Sera tied a red ribbon to the railing. Marker, she said, for when fear circles back. Jonah left it there, a small, bright witness. Morning gift-wrapped its doubt in dew. Boot prints near the barn, a pry bar's scratch on the hasp, nothing gone. Curious hands, not hungry ones. Sera set a kettle and spread tools on the table like a deck of old truths. We won't lock the answers, she said. We'll polish them. They walked the fence, finding where rumor had leaned hard enough to bend nails. Jonah straightened slats. Sera whispered to soil. At the mailbox, a flyer. Weather rights. Public comment. Below, the line that matters. No unregistered atmospheric devices. Jonah folded the paper into a sharp square. They built the question to fit the answer they want. Sera nodded. Then we will give them a better question. She drew a diagram, rainfall, runoff, memory in the loam, and wrote under it, how do we share a sky? The dog lay across her boots like punctuation. Neighbors came in twos, cake carriers, coffee flasks, clipboards that pretended to be friendly. Jonah set out chairs. Sera set down language. We don't harvest what isn't given, she said. We teach the ground to pass water along. She showed them the biofilter, wood chips, charcoal, microbes singing hunger into balance. Showed the windmill's manual override, old metal with new manners. Mrs. Linden touched the oak beam by the door and murmured, This house remembers. Hall didn't sit. The rain pattern says otherwise. Jonah didn't bristle. Patterns follow care. Pike studied the buffalo pen, dry footing, clean shade. Feels different, he admitted, not happy about it. Sera poured coffee like a chaplain. Different is not a danger by itself, she said. Only when it refuses to be understood. She met every gaze without blinking. Most people blink first. By dawn, the feed net lit up. Unregistered tech suspected near Cade Farm. A grainy photo of Sera, a blur with eyes, angled like proof. The comments fermented in real time. Shut it down. Sell the patent. Call enforcement. Jonah closed the page before the words bit. The phone rang twice with unknowns that didn't leave messages. Sera made biscuits like quiet armor. We can't argue with a rumor, Jonah said. We can starve it, she answered. They spent the day doing honest work where everyone could see. Fence mending, trough scrubbing, seed sorting on the porch like a public prayer. When a drone hovered low, its lens blinking appetite, Jonah lifted a hand the way a man greets a neighbor he doesn't trust. The drone hesitated, rose, and left. Small victories matter most when you're outnumbered. Wind brought voices from the road, not words, shapes of intention. Headlights drew stripes across the pasture and stopped. Jonah left the porch light on, no shadows to nurture stories. 3 figures approached the gate and didn't open it. We've got kids, one said, voice a mix of apology and demand. If this goes bad, we need to know before it does. Jonah nodded like a pastor at a funeral. Nothing I'm doing threatens your children. Sera added, Our work feeds them. A long breath, a shared glance, and the figures stepped back. One slipped a note through the wire. If they come, text. A phone number. Trust, thin as paper, strong as thread. When the engines faded, the night unclenched by a finger's width. The red ribbon on the railing lifted and fell as if counting. The room was fuller, faces tighter, air brighter with the heat of gathered attention. The mayor read policy. Policy did what it always does, explain the world by shrinking it. Public comment, a parade of futures people feared. Then Jonah. He said 10 sentences like fence posts, Soil memory, shade discipline, water shared not hoarded. Sera followed, voice a calm river. Rain is a commons, she said. Our work is to distribute. We do not own clouds. We invite them. A laugh in the corner died on the way out. Mrs. Linden stood. I've walked there, Rose, she said. I tasted dust when the rest of us did. That place didn't cheat. It learned. Pike stepped up last, reluctant as a man at a microphone. If they're lying, they picked a hard way to do it. The room didn't vote. Rooms like that take feelings home to feed them, but no one said, shut it down. 2 mornings later, a white sedan idled where the lane meets the world. No logos, just good posture. A woman stepped out, navy suit, field boots, clipboard that smelled like decisions. Regional water liaison, she said. Heard you've got results without registration. Jonah felt the porch boards hold him up. Sera stood at his shoulder, hands empty by design. The liaison walked the windmill, the pen, the filter bed. You publish this, she murmured almost to herself, and you'll buy enemies wholesale. She closed the clipboard. Or you keep your heads down and buy time. She didn't ask to scan. She didn't ask to take. She left a card and a sentence at the bottom of the steps. The best miracles are boring on paper. When the sedan disappeared into the shimmer, the valley seemed to exhale for the first time in days. The next dusk, Jonah found a sack of feed at the gate with a note. For the calves. No signature. At the co-op, someone had taped over the headline with a new one, Community Water Workshop, Saturday. The article still lived underneath, but its teeth looked duller. Sera planted marigolds along the porch, bright pockets against the wood, and said, It helps to give fear something pretty to walk past. They ate on the steps, watching a sky that belonged to nobody. The ribbon flickered in a wind even the satellite grids can't invoice. Somewhere down the road, a porch guitar tried a chord and found the next one waiting. We haven't won, Jonah said. We've been allowed to continue, Sera replied. He nodded. That's sometimes all victory is, the chance to wake up and try the same kindness again. When night came, it came empty-handed. And for now, that was enough.